welcome to the first of hopefully many interviews with our residents here at the Lutheran Home. We're going to be calling the series Wit Wisdom, or Off the Cuff, or Fun Times with Our Old Friends. We don't know yet. Work in progress. Our first interview is someone who's lived at the Lutheran Home for a very long time. She's a very good friend of ours, and you're part of the Women's Auxiliary, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
This is Virginia. Virginia, this is everybody.
Hi there. I'm happy to know everybody.
So what we're going to be doing in this series is just kind of going and asking some questions about Virginia's life and some of her views on things that are happening nowadays and get her perspective on that. And then at the end, I have a fun little game that I didn't tell you about. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Virginia, where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, but lived in Philadelphia with my three sisters and my mother and father. But I'm talking about the 1930s, the late 20s and the 30s.
So what brought you to Milwaukee?
My father, there was no work on the East Coast. It was the Depression. Employment just shut down, but my father found work here in Milwaukee, and we moved in the early 30s. We moved to Milwaukee and lived on the south side. We were 4 blocks away from the bus stop, way out in the country. There were no houses around, but my parents found this older home and we called it the shack, but it was very comfortable. The school was probably a good mile away and you walked back and forth, but it had just opened. Mm-hmm. And only the first floor was used because in my class there were 5 of us. It was really living in the country.
Yeah, that's like,
And today, this is all near Wilson Park. Today, that's big city. Mm-hmm. That is big city.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were the class clown, the one that most likely to succeed, the one that was the most popular. You were all of those.
No, I was not. I was very shy.
Oh.
And I didn't think that people liked me.
Oh.
And
oh boy.
Oh boy. No.
But you got along. You did okay.
This personality of mine now is much different when I was a youngster.
Tell us about when you were a youngster, because that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. What was life like back then for a kid?
You just didn't, well, you had the radio. That we had. I remember listening to the Lone Ranger. That was a very popular. But if you wanted to have some fun, you had to go to the local park with the other kids, because you didn't stay home and have somebody come over to watch TV. Yeah. Non-existent. Yeah. But they had good programs at the parks. And we'd play baseball. In the winter, we'd go ice skating and play basketball, baseball. A lot of activities at those public parks for young people. Yeah. To keep them out of trouble. Yeah. Keep them out of trouble.
Keep them out of trouble.
Yeah. And I don't know if they still do that or not.
I don't know either.
I just don't know. But nowadays, kids are so independent, and by the time they're 5 years old, they're grown up.
Right.
We weren't very grown up years ago.
No, but we were talking before the interview started that even in terms of technology, the kids now know more than, well, it's that old song by Louis Armstrong, that It's a Wonderful World, where he says that kids know much more, or they'll learn much more than we'll ever know, or something, and that's absolutely true. Kids know how to work these phones
They sure do.
more
And
than I do.
I don't know how to work the new cell phone, and cellular just changed. I tell you,
Yeah.
it rings and I say hello and don't bother me other than that because I wouldn't know what to do.
Do you know what you can do on a phone now? You can take videos and you can find out where you are if you're lost on the road, or if you want to know how to spell something, or you need a recipe. It's a computer. It's everything in one. Don't you think that's wonderful?
And I read every booklet that they sent to me, and I'm still confused.
Oh, that's the problem. You shouldn't read any of those. Let's move on. So, what did you do for a living?
I worked in the stock market. I worked for the New York Stock Exchange in a Milwaukee office on East Mason Street. And in those days, North Water and East Mason, that was the heart of the financial world. The First Wisconsin National Bank was there. It was before we had all those high rises facing the lake. I worked for the New York Stock Exchange.
Now, how did you, in what capacity? I mean, were you on the floor doing all the stuff and yelling at everybody?
No, I was not a broker. I was not a sales rep. I was paperwork.
Oh.
And you wouldn't believe the
I
paperwork
can't even.
for the stock exchange.
I don't want to think about it.
It's unbelievable.
And back before they had emails and faxes and
You did everything by hand,
man, oh man. And let's not forget, you were a woman
right?
in
Right.
in a
man's
yeah,
world.
it was a man's world. How did that fare for you?
Well, that's the way it was. Take it or not.
You were
take
happy
it.
to have the job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And, it was a long time. Even when I retired, it was still a man's world, but women were gradually stepping up. But it's been a very, very slow process.
Yeah.
It's improving, and you read about these different executives that are women now. Also, I think it's time we had a woman president of the United States.
I hear you, sister. Here. Absolutely.
And these men are smart, I realize that, but they're old. I'm tired of having old presidents. And a young woman in that position, I think, would be very good. It would certainly be a new experience, and who knows, it might be a good answer to so many of our problems.
Wow. That would be fantastic. But
Boy,
you think we're ready for that yet?
I do.
Do you think we're at a place where we would do that? Like we would be ready for that? Who do you think should run? If you were to give me one woman that you think should run for president.
Oh, that I can't do.
What about Oprah Winfrey?
No,
Judge Judy?
pardon me?
Judge Judy.
No.
The Kardashian person. The one of those Kardashian ladies. Do you know who those people are?
I think what we need, you can't pick somebody out. You need these people that are qualified and smart to get out in the public and let us get to know them. And then we can say, she's the one or she's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it'll be another man, I don't know.
Yeah.
But younger people,
Mm-hmm.
I just am tired of
Old men.
I call him Joe, but don't tell anybody. And one time he was introduced and then he made his entrance and he ran on the stage.
Yeah, he was trying to prove how.
Come on.
Oh, I think
And
it's
he-
great. Come on. He was showing how young and energetic he was.
I was
and
afraid he was going to fall
I think we
over.
all were. I think we're all. Don't do that. What do you think about all of societies, like all the obsessions that people have now with social media and the celebrity scene, and what do you think about all that? People being hooked on their phones and caring so much about what other people are doing and posting things on
Is
Twitter.
that what you call social media?
Social media, yeah. It's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and
I have nothing to do with any of that.
yeah.
I hear about Facebook, but I don't know what it is. Can I get that on my fancy little phone now?
Yeah.
Do I pay for that? Or is it there and all I have to do is push a button?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's a lot though, isn't it?
Well, I've read every booklet, and there's a number you can call because of this big changeover. And this gentleman is so kind. But I have to go, or should go into a classroom for probably months and learn how to use the phone over step by step by step. It baffles me, the cell phones.
I think we were talking before the interview started that we were talking about having wall units where you would actually have a designated spot in your house where you talked on the phone and you were tethered to the phone by, we had a wall unit that looked like a banana with, what was those slimline phones? And the cord was 80 feet long and it would get all tangled up and then you'd be on the phone, you'd try and untangle it at the same time on the phone, or you'd walk all over your house and you'd knock things off tables and but you actually had a very short cord and you'd have a table right next to it and then you'd have to sit there. Very bad for someone with
it was in the breakfast
a lot of energy.
room, right off the kitchen, with an extension upstairs, of course. So when it rang
someone
in
could
the middle of the
someone
night,
could listen in on your conversation.
well, my husband was a pharmacist,
Oh,
and he got phone calls when he wasn't working round the clock, like 2 a.m. was a favorite time. So we had to have a phone upstairs and have it ready for him to use.
mm-hmm.
But we didn't have a phone in the basement, so if you're doing the war, you had to run up the steps.
Yes, I remember that. The phone would ring and ring and ring, and you'd have to stop what you're doing and run to
Yes,
go get
you
it.
would,
Now we
yeah.
have it on our person at all times, and if we don't have our phone on us, we don't know what to do. We feel like lonely, lost souls without our phones on us now.
That's true.
It is true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going a little long now, and I think Carrie's arm is falling asleep. So I'm going to play a little game with you before we end. And I know I didn't go over half that stuff. You took little notes. You took notes.
Take two.
Okay, here we go. Yeah,
No.
take two. All right, so I'm going to read to you some slang. Okay, slang. Popular slang of today. And you have to tell me what you think these things mean.
Are you going to tell me what the slang word is?
Yes, and you have to tell me what you think it means.
All right.
Okay, so are you ready? If I were to say, let's spill the tea. Let's spill the tea. What's the tea? T-E-A. What do you think tea is in reference
Probably
to?
alcohol,
Mm.
but I don't know. I've never even heard that. Tea is something that you drink, that you put a bag in hot water and it changes color. That's what tea is.
Yes.
Never heard of this.
To spill the tea means to give me the gossip. Let's gossip. So you can use that with your
And
friends.
getting an education.
Yes, you are. How about if something is salty? If someone is salty, if I were to say, "Boy, you're really salty about that situation," what do you think that means?
Where did you find these things?
That's what kids are saying now. Don't be salty about it. Just answer. What do you think the word salty means? If I say, Virginia, stop being salty.
Well, it sounds like it could be rude or picking a fight
Mm-hmm.
or not very complimentary.
Right. To be salty means to be angry or agitated or bitter about something. What do you think about that? Is that
I'm not going to waste any time thinking about it.
One more.
Okay.
How about OMG?
OMG.
Yeah. Do you know what texting is? You know, you could text people on your phone. That's
Ah.
writing messages to people.
I've seen them do that.
Yeah, you've seen them do that, right?
I don't know. OMG.
What does OMG stand for in text lingo?
Oh my God.
Yes! Good job! Okay, now I pulled some slang terms from your day.
Okay.
You gotta tell me what they mean, because I don't know what this means. What is a ducky shin cracker?
I never heard that.
Apparently,
Even in my day.
I had never heard that either. What it means to be a good dancer.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Okay, well, you give me some. What about, hey, sugar, you rationed? You ever hear that term before?
Oh, rations, of course, during the war, but not with hay sugar.
Hey, sugar, you rationed? That means, are you going steady with somebody?
Oh, for heaven. I just didn't go in the right crowds at all, did I?
What is a fathead?
Someone who's very conceited.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever call anybody a fathead? You're too polite for that. I can't see you.
Under my breath, maybe.
Under your breath, like a polite person.
Yeah.
Yes. What's a rumble seat?
It's part of a car.
Why would it be rumbling?
A rumble seat was where the trunk of the car is now. And you would lift it and enter from the street. And it was open air. There was no, you weren't inside the car. You were in the rumble seat.
So the rumble is like, it would move with the motor, and you could flop right out of it because seatbelts weren't invented back then, right? You took your life in your hands every time you got into that car.
No, I wouldn't describe the rumble seat as that. It was just a definition for this seat that was in the back but outside.
Did you go to watch the boat races? You know what that means? I had heard that meant going to park with your beau. You'd tell your mom you're going to go see the boat races, and you'd go to the lake and you'd neck all night in that.
Oh, no.
No?
I can tell you one thing.
Uh-oh.
When I was junior, at least a junior in high school, and I had a Sunday afternoon date with a student that I went to school with. And this Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, when he came to my house, he was on a motorcycle. My mother looked out the window. She said, "You're not leaving the house."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, that guy probably turned out to be a really great doctor or a lawyer or something and made a lot of money.
Well, maybe he did, but she wouldn't let me get in that car, on that motorcycle.
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, one more thing and then we're going to end. What would be one piece of advice that you would give a young girl, a young woman right out of college who's about to embark on her life and career? And she said, "Virginia, I'm nervous. I'm a woman. I'm going to this big field. I have no experience and I'm scared to death." What would be the one piece of advice you'd give to her?
Well, I would agree with her about being scared, because it's still a great deal of a man's world. However, go for it.
Go for it?
If you go to college, even if you just graduate from high school and go into the business world, go for it. Do a good job, and you'll do all right. Because I had a career with a high school graduate, and I worked for the New York Stock Exchange, and I made good money.
So that's good advice.
That is very
Just
good
have
advice.
confidence.
And what do you go to work for? not to work for peanuts, but to work for as much money as you can earn.
Oh,
And
peanuts.
particularly when I graduated from high school, we were in the Second World War, but they paid nothing salary-wise, nothing. And you apply yourself, you do a good job, you're always on time. I'll never forget the girl that came to work and she was late and she kind of confessed to me, I was late this morning. Well, that happens. I said, did you oversleep or? She said, well, no, it was raining outside.
Just like that.
Can you imagine anybody using that as an excuse?
I can, actually.
Really? Boy, out the door. Out the door.
Things aren't like that anymore.
Oh,
You can't just kick someone out on the street anymore.
no, you can't.
No, you
You
can't.
can't. I remember somebody did something they shouldn't have done and it wasn't good. The boss said, I'll give you 20 minutes to get her out the front door.
Oh.
You can't do that anymore.
No.
No, you can't.
That's too bad you can't.
No, but she was out the front door in less than 20 minutes. Of course, everybody knew, and it was kind of an example of how not to be. Do what you're supposed to do. Do a good job. Do the best you can.
Do the best you can.
I had a good career. I
Good.
made good money,
Good.
and I was a high school graduate.
Well, you're very headstrong, you're smart, and you got confidence. I think
Yeah.
those are the three
Yeah.
key elements to be successful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And you've been at the Lutheran Home for how long now?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I was a volunteer for 10 years.
Aww.
I was all over the place and it wasn't quite this big.
Right.
I've never been in the basement though.
You want to go?
No,
Okay.
but I have a story about the basement.
Okay.
On this property, years ago, when I was in high school in the 30s, we used to come out here on Saturday nights to Wauwatosa East to dance.
Mmm.
And we walked a couple of miles because the bus line ended. And on this corner was the only building for miles, and it was a great big mansion. And rich people lived there, of course. But we'd be walking past it and the lights would be on and you'd dream about what it would be like inside with all these rooms. Well, eventually it became the Alta 9, which was the first name for the Lutheran Home.
Oh.
And of course they had to dig a bigger basement. They took the mansion down, but that basement to that mansion is still down there.
Whoa. I thought you were going to tell me it was built on a Native American burial ground or something.
No.
Okay, that's good. 'Cause that
And
could
they
be
were
bad.
cleaning the corners of that mansion's basement one day and came across
Skeleton?
no, a big box, and they opened it up, and inside was
A little skeleton?
sterling silver service for maybe 100 people. Coffee pots, creamers, sugars, silver, plates, pitchers.
Really?
And of course it was a pattern that they no longer made.
Sure.
Had been down there all this time off in a corner. And the Lutheran Home was able to sell it for a very good price.
That's fantastic.
They cleaned it up and it was beautiful.
And that's why we have Hart Hall right now, because of that silver serviceware.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, thank you for coming. This has been wonderful. I loved this whole thing, learning a little bit about you and all your little gems of wisdom. that future generations will benefit from, no doubt. And I want to appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thanks for your time. And we will be bringing these to you every once in a while, so stay tuned. And thank you. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.